Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Sunday morning stream. So today we're again sitting here at Ted Stevens Anchorage Airport here in Alaska. Um, so today we're going to be in A319 from Latin VFR. Um, I've got some things to say I'd like to say about this plane, but I'll save that for a little later once we get going. I am not flying this plane as default. I am using Horizon Sims mod for it. Essentially, I mean, that mod does help out this plane a lot, but at the end of the day, I mean, you do kind of feel like you're just flying another A320, but it's worth it. So let's go ahead and let's get everything up and going so we can get out of here. Today we really today we are going to be going to Juneau, and apparently this is one of those known issues.
You need to set parking brakes to request ground services.
Well, hopefully they got the built-in pushback because that looks like I won't be using GSX with this mod. Because if there's a way to do it,
You need to set parking
yeah,
brakes to request
I'm not going to worry about it,
services.
guys. I'm just going to fly the plane, and we'll figure out how we're going to push back. So I guess we will not be boarding passengers today. Um, so we are just going to move forward with getting things set up. Get some lights on up in here. So just these lights as well. So today we're going to be flying at 35,000 feet. So the weather today up here in Anchorage looks like we need an altimeter of 30.26. So that is set. I already did get that loaded, so I guess I could have got some of that from right here. Kind of forgot about that. But hey, it's also why you got Navigraph charts, right? There you go, that's there. Let's go ahead and get the flight plan. There we go. I do not like the cost index of 5, so we're going to change that. That's right, that's right. 350, that's right. Go ahead and get the winds. So today we're going to be departing from runway 7 left. And we're just going direct. To Joe. There we go. And we go to the PAGN. We're going to be hitting runway 8. I'm going to go to Zulu, but let's see. I honestly am not sure what an LDA is. But I think I'm going to try and look for RNAV runway 8. I would normally look for a Zulu, but I'll take the Victor. This is always somewhat of an interesting approach, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and over here and let's actually get our weights in here. So fuel we should have on board today would be 14.4. Zero fuel weight should be the 126, but I'll tell you what, that is one thing we still need to do is get over here and get this loaded, and we'll use the numbers from here.
Boarding completed.
Alright, all boarded. So zero fuel weight, they actually say 122. That's definitely a bit different than what SimBrief says, but hey, I'll go with it. So 122.2. CG 24.4.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew,
That
I'd like
fuel
to
was a
take this
little
time to welcome you aboard our
different.
flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front.
That
here, waiting
was
for final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our
14.5.
way. Flight attendants
Not
will be
much of
coming
a
through the
difference,
cabin
but I'll
shortly with a
change it.
very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything
Now,
you do
of
to make
course,
this flight more
again,
enjoyable,
there
please
is
don't
no
hesitate to
takeoff
ask.
calculator
Welcome
here
aboard.
in this plane, so I'm gonna make it up. I'm just gonna go flaps 1. And it be what it be. So that's on auto. I don't usually do it unless I'm on VATSIM. Let's have a little fun. I'll put my flight number in there. Just to have something a little different. But I guess since we're not actually loading passengers today, let's go ahead and get PAC-X open.
We are ready to go when you are. On behalf of the cabin
There
crew,
we
I'd
go.
like to welcome you aboard our flight.
Thanks to
As you find your seat, be sure
Instant
to place your
Node.
larger carry-on items in the overhead
We're not
bins
waiting
and
for that.
smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. If you have trouble finding a location for any of your carry-on items, please use the flight attendant call button over your seat and somebody will assist you. After you put your carry-on items in the overhead bin and it is full, make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Also, be sure that the aisle is clear and sit down so that way other passengers can get by you. If you are seated in an emergency exit row, please review the exit seating responsibilities in the safety card provided for you. Please make sure that you are able and willing to perform these actions. If you're not, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Now's the time to get out any last-minute text messages if you need to, but we ask that once we depart from the gate, you put away any laptops or tablets. Thank you, and welcome aboard.
Just waiting on the APU to be available, and then I'll take a look and figure out how to use the built-in pushback.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen,
There
and
we
welcome
go.
aboard Flight 2425.
Do I have to
with
get my
service
beacons
to
on?
Juneau. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour and 12 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low and tight across your lap. Your tray tables and seatbacks must be in the full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, prepare doors for departure, cross-check, verify straps, and stand by for all call.
Whoa. I kind of thought that was going to be going in the direction the tug was going, but alright. I'll go with this. It's working. Let's go ahead and start getting those engines started.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the flight attendants for a safety demonstration. When the seatbelt light is fastened, please make sure that your seatbelts are fastened low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the entire flight as we may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. To familiarize yourself with the emergency exits on this aircraft, please refer to the safety card in the seat back pocket in front of you. In some cases, your nearest exit might be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the floor to guide you towards the exit. In the event of a decompression, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, tighten the straps if necessary, and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first and then assist others. Keep your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it is safe to remove it. In the event that the pilot decides to take us for a swim, a fashionable life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouthpieces for manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Please securely
Alright,
stow
we're
all
aligned.
personal
Hopefully we're
items.
accurate.
Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are all in their full upright position. We remind
Put
you
the
that
one
this is a
flaps out.
non-smoking flight, and that includes vaping. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is strictly prohibited by law. All this information and more can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you.
No, we're not ready for
and letting
takeoff.
the cabin member know if you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Forgot about that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And of course, everything up here looks like it should be set where it's supposed to be. But again, it won't let me put those in there. Or release the parking brakes, maybe somehow. Nope. Alright, I'm not going to worry about it, guys. As long as we have normal working brakes, we'll be good. suppose we could turn the wipers on, but to me they kind of seem more annoying than anything else, seeing how they don't actually wipe away the rain. So in case I didn't see it, guys, today we're going to be taking off runway 7 left.
Ready to go.
Well, I'm glad you are. Haha. So go ahead and cross this runway. Now, being an A319, guys, with this being a somewhat long runway, I probably don't need the whole thing, but for maybe some obvious reasons, I'm not going to trust this plane to take off as fast as it should. There we go. Get the taxi. I'm just gonna turn off. Double check, make sure I did this, which I did not, but it is now. I'll give it one more try. Nope, it's not working. Let's go ahead and go. Alright, let's go ahead and advance the throttle. And toga! power. And bye-bye, Ted Stevens. Autopilot is on. Go ahead and get rid of flaps. I'm going to go ahead and lower this volume here a little bit. Here we go. Alright guys, so we're pretty much in the air now. So I gotta say, you know, if these planes that VFR produced would have came out, you know, back when the sim launched, I would have said these planes, you know, probably would have been better to have, perhaps more worthwhile creating, knowing that modsters were going to mod the plane to make it better, and I'm very glad that Horizon did put in the work to make these planes better for all of us, which is kind of why I did kind of purchase the 21 and the 19. I was bored. I wanted something else to fly. I knew they did this mod, so I did it. However, I will also note I did that before I even knew Phoenix was going to be coming out with the 19 and the 21. You know, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have even bought these planes. And I'll have to be honest to say that once Phoenix does drop the 19 and the 21, and from what I hear and what I understand, for 20 bucks, you're going to get both of those models. But the catch is you also already have to own the Phoenix 320. You know, with that being said, for 20 bucks, I'll end up with two really well modeled additional planes to fly. I mean, I'll have to say that these mods here will be getting uninstalled, as well as the Latin VFR planes. There just won't be any point for me to keep them. I mean, quite frankly, I won't fly them again once the Phoenix comes out with theirs, which should be before Christmas. But we'll see. I'll also be honest to say that if this was Monday and PMDG had dropped their tablet, I probably would have been in the 737, 600, 700 instead, and I wouldn't even been flying this plane. I just needed something smaller to fly than a full-size 320 or an MD-80, you know? And we definitely weren't going to be flying a 787 into the airports I'm flying in today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet, so you may turn on larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight and do not form a line near the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. You will be required to pay a small fee if you wish to access it. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi and you'll be able to access our wide range of free live TV and paid movie library.
Now, I also do want to say thanks to Fly-by-Wire because, you know, without Fly-by-Wire, Horizon Sims wouldn't have been able to make that mod, making Fly-by-Wire control this plane. So I really definitely want to make sure that, you know, if I'm thanking developers, then I'm thanking everybody involved. But I also do kind of want to give a shout out to XP72. I will say that if not for him and watching his streams, I probably wouldn't have considered buying these planes and getting mods. But we're definitely in the air. We are shortly going to be getting into transition altitude. But let's go ahead and listen to some music and enjoy the flight.
a few moments, we will be starting our in-flight service. We will be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Please look in your seat back for our list of complimentary and premium drinks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. Please note that we only accept credit cards.
rest, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't, that's what guides me the most. Fuck your lies, I'll do what I want. Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic, believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.
Return to your seat as the seatbelt sign is now on. We have begun our final descent into Juno. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please read all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
Hello everybody, hope you're enjoying the stream so far. So yes, as you just heard the flight attendant announce, we are starting our final descent. We'll have to see how this goes. I did try to properly adjust the altitudes at the proper waypoints, but as this thing is still using the default navigation system, customized or not, wouldn't allow it. So as always, we'll just do the best we can with what we've got. Now, I do believe the Juno that we are flying into is made by Northern Sky Simulations. Within the last 6 months, I do believe I might have heard about a new Juno. I don't know if it's the same developer or if ORBX did one, but this is the version I've gotten. It is up to date. When we get down the ground, we'll certainly go take a look and see how it looks. See if it's any different from the last time I've flown in here. And I'll have to say, I don't fly in here very much. I mean, this airport's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's really something you kind of really want to fly to. I mean, if you're from Alaska and you like flying around Alaska, I suppose you probably may possibly fly here quite a bit. But I do tend to stay myself mostly on the East Coast of the United States. I do venture out Midwest and the West Coast every now and again. I will say so far on these streams, I did venture out to the West quite quickly. But we will get back to the East Coast here eventually. At some point within the next few streams, I do want to kind of find a way to get to Yellowknife. Now, the airport itself that I have, you know, it's really nothing to scream about. You know, there's really nothing eye-popping about it. But that's something we'll cover when we get there. But I am a fan of the show that was based out of there with Buffalo Airways. They did just recently, within the last 6 months, get a 737, if you can believe that. I mean, these guys are used to flying DC-3s, DC-4s, a couple other aircraft. You know, a big guppy type of plane. You know, kind of weird. I don't think we'll ever have a version of that plane made in the sim or anything like it. I could be wrong, but I do want to say we may be, well, yeah, we're still higher than we're supposed to be. This hill does kind of make me a little nervous here. I did turn my terrain on, but, well, that's not working, so let's just hope for the best. But we are getting close. And I am going to take over the speed here, because I am not at all trying to wait till the last minute to get this bird slowed down, because I'm pretty sure we do have a steep descent coming up here, possibly. Start putting on a notch of flaps. At this point, I guess I could take the speed brakes out, maybe.
2,500.
Since we are on RNAV, I'm just going to kind of let it do its thing down to the ground. I'll intervene if I need to. But I do believe we can see our runway off in the distance here. Well, that wasn't very nice autopilot. Let the speed go down that far where you really got to ramp up the engines like that. I'm gonna take it down to the next step down, which I like to go 180. I think I might as well come down here and arm the speed brakes. This thing's gonna have you think and believe this is a straight up approach, but it's not. Go ahead and now I'm notch 2 on the flaps. I think shortly here I'm just gonna kind of take over and do my own thing here. Let's go ahead and go 160. Go ahead and get the landing gear out.
Flight attendants, please prepare for
Now that the gear's out, I'll go ahead and taxi lights on. Alright, so we're getting close. So I'm going to go ahead and put this bird speed to where I believe I want it to be, which I'm going to go 140. Put out the final notch of flaps. And I'm going to go ahead and call this my plane. See how well I can do. Well, I say we're kind of high. You know, as always, I'm blind as a bat. If there's papulates there, I can't see them. I can definitely see the approach lights guided to where I ought to be on my flight path to properly come in here. Go ahead and start coming over here to the right. Of course, there are pappies, but in my opinion, they're just about worthless where they're at.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
And we're down. Go ahead and release the reversers. And I'm just gonna make a left on this next I'm sorry guys, I can't remember what people are calling this, but I'm gonna take this right here to the left.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Juneau. The local time is 1:10 p.m. and it's currently about
Go ahead and put the flaps
34
back
degrees
in.
Fahrenheit. You can
Fix
now
the
use
speed
your mobile
brakes.
devices. Please remain seated until the
Go
aircraft
ahead and
has
get the
come to a
landing
complete
lights off.
stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when
Strobes
opening
off.
the overhead bins, as items may have been shifted during
Might
the
as
flight.
well get the
We thank
APU
you for
going.
flying with us.
The Let me a brief second here to look at the chart. So we definitely need to go to the left. You can obviously see the terminal coming up on our right. Already in Alaska. What is that, 737? I doubt it's a max. With that being said, I suppose I probably could have came in here with a full-size 320. Maybe I could have flown to Phoenix after all, but for now. And there goes the rudder pedals again, thinking I want the parking brakes. But I'll stick with the 319 for now until we get to my next destination, which will be Ketchikan. I suppose I probably should have put that in the title. You know, once we park at the gate and we have our tour, I am going to put us into the I'll be right back scenario. I guess I'll park right here. I'm having difficulty seeing the lines. Thank you, Snow, but I will say this developer did at least go through and, you know, try to make it so everything wasn't completely covered with snow, which is good. Definitely does look like we have some custom jetways here. Alright, that's going to be good right there. Parking brakes are on. Taxi lights are off. Beacon lights are off. And there goes engine 1 and engine 2. And since the...
You need to set parking brakes to request ground services.
Yeah, well... I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the APUs, guys. There will be no passenger on boarding thanks to the parking brake issue. I don't get it. Well, let me see if I can at least attach the jetway. And I guess that's a big fat no. I don't know if because I got GSX turned on. Well, maybe I can turn GSX off, since it's going to be unusable. Alright. Well, guys, with or without GSX, it looks like I'm not getting... Yeah, I'm not going to get the jet bridge, guys. I don't know if it's because these are static, or it's because the issue with the parking brakes with this plane, and I generally had GSX going. Don't know which is which, guys. Sorry. So, as I review the airport, I'm going to try not to be too... I'm not going to be too harsh, because I actually don't know if the jetways work by default or not. But let's go ahead and make sure plane's unboarded, and it is. I will say I did, according to PAC-X, I did have a better landing rate than last night. I did get a 383 feet per minute. Not the greatest, definitely not a butter. Far from it. But passengers did remain 94% satisfied, which is good. I'll take anything between a 90 and 100%. At the end of the day, you're not going to please everybody. You're just not. Alright, so re-wake up my controller. Let's go ahead and get to an exterior view. We'll go showcase. Get it off the screen. Here we go. So let's go ahead and take a look around the airport, guys. It's like I parked at the last gate with the jetway over there. This AI plane is not using the jetway. I don't know if it's just they're not ready to start boarding yet, or again, if it's just that these gates where jet bridges don't work. I mean, these are definitely custom jet bridges. You definitely won't get a jet bridge like this by default in the sim. I'm almost tempted to put a "I'll be right back" in and switch to plane that I know does work with GSX and refresh everything just to test to see if they do or don't work, but I'm not going to do that, guys. I'm sure there's other streamers that have been to this airport, and they might be able, they probably have covered it there, so they definitely did put some eye candy in here. This is kind of cool. They actually have the smoke coming out of the chimney there. That's not something you see too many creators do by default. Same over here. Wow, that actually kind of impresses me. Definitely got eye candy around. That's kind of cool. We got the maintenance vehicles over here. This is definitely kind of custom. Pretty cool. Developer took the time to do that. That's just about it for this airport. There's really not. It's really not a big airport at all. Um, that's wrong. That yellow border around the B, but it's okay. I'm not gonna, hype on it too much because at the end of the day, everybody else is doing it. So, why shouldn't they? Everybody's lead. But if we want the proper, correct taxi signs, that might be that long by default. But again, that yellow border around the B, that's wrong. One thing that does concern me a little bit, well, maybe not. I'll be honest and say it's kind of bugging me a little bit. Not sure if these are actually the default painted taxi lines or if they're custom. I mean, they're not quite the normal default color, so they may be custom. But generally speaking, this airport is pretty good. One thing I will say is, if by default those jet bridges really do not work, to me, that's a big miss. That's a huge fail. I mean, I understand you want to do something custom, and what the custom that they got does look good. But if at the end of the day all they can be is static and they can't work, then me personally, I'd rather have them work in jetways. And there's the firehouse. That's good to see. I'm pretty sure that's not default fire truck from the sim. Good to see they're using their own materials. What they doing with the gate? Yeah. See, there you go. And that's obvious right here. These are what you call default, hard to place Microsoft fence right here. That's default. Let's see over here, got a Schnook. And that looks like that's about pretty much it. Looks like we might have some kind of stowage going on over here. Construction materials. I don't know if that's a sign that maybe perhaps they're getting ready to, redo this airport. Perhaps. I don't really know how much traffic this airport gets in real life, whether it would really be warrant a bigger, newer terminal or whatnot or not. But there's one thing I did not do, and I want to come back here to do. I didn't dip down into the main terminal, I don't think. I want to see if they did anything there. It's doubtful that they did. But we'll see. I love that. Functional smoke exiting the fireplaces. That's amazing. Can you guys imagine that if ever their payware developer went through their terminals and airports and went to any place they might have exhaust expelling into the cold air, to have that kind of an effect that you can visually see? That would be cool. Oh yeah, and look, they definitely did model the inside of the terminal. Awesome. Anybody want a Coke? Hello. How are you? I'm going to be doing a flight to Ketchikan. You want to come along? You're all welcome to join. I don't know where y'all are waiting to go to. I hope maybe you're going to be flying along with me. It looks like technically, if I wanted to be ultra super realistic here on my flight in, I'm guessing that the only airline that really comes in here is Alaska. Kind of a cool airline. I suppose I wouldn't mind flying a plane with Alaskan colors. Did they model anything further down? Nah. But wait a minute. They did. Over here. I wonder if anybody else that's previewed this has noticed that. But yep, definitely Alaska over here still. Check-in booths. Pretty cool that that got modeled. Tell you what, guys, this might just be the new version. And look at that. Delta even flies into here. Delta and Alaskan Airways. But obviously, Alaska probably flies in here more often. I mean, just looking at the size of the check-in counters and whatnot. Anything else over here? Yep, you got the baggage reclamation area. You've got your rental car services. We go up the stairs. And start to see some of the areas that we've already seen. Hello, once again, everybody. Oh, look at this. Kind of cool. I mean, they kind of went all out here, guys. I mean, I kind of want to put this up there at I&I Builds Quality, guys. Fly Tampa. I mean, this is really decent, in my opinion. I could definitely think of a couple of popular senior designers that we know about that didn't even go to the extent of this level of the scenery. Looks like we got some Alaska seaplane service. Kind of makes sense. Oh, guys, I kind of wish this airport was closer to the United States. I mean, technically, I do believe possibly we are still in the United States. I'll have to look and see where this is. I do believe this is still Alaska, so obviously it would be part of the United States. I just know that by the time we get down to this area, I mean, we could technically be somewhere on a Canadian-United States border, possibly. I'm just not familiar where that's at. But maybe something that I should perhaps take a look at. Come out here. Yep, they even modeled that. That's amazing, guys. Now, Northern Sky, you need to do this work a little bit more often, and maybe perhaps find some smaller airports in the States and do just as good of a job on it like this. Like, I would like to see you guys do Aspen, Case. Okay, I'll have to go back and look and see what the ICO code is for Aspen, but I might have just said it correctly. I'm not sure, but that would be kind of cool in my eyes. All right. So anyway, let me go ahead and hit, let's get back to the plane scenario. Let's go ahead and get back in the cockpit. So I do need to get reset up for my next flight into Ketchikan. We're gonna reuse the same plane, guys, but I will be back in a moment. While I'm gone, I'll let you guys listen to some tunes.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. Run away, I don't have to plan it. I can go, change my fate, you won't understand it. All alone, that's okay, people I can't stand them. They don't want me to change, keep me where I'm standing. And I don't wanna be where I am, and I want something more, take a chance. It could be possibly my last dance, my last dance. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down.
Alright, guys, welcome back. I am back. Got everything reset that I needed to reset up. So guys, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be flying into Ketchikan. That's another fun airport that I like landing into. Of course, we'll take a look around the airport, do a review. I definitely have some comments that I'd like to share in regards to the airport. That airport is fully released and done by ORBX. But that'll be a conversation I'll reserve for when we get there. But I am really excited to fly into this airport today. I really think that it was a fun flight to get here. The next flight's going to be pretty short. It's not really that far away from here. Normally, I would try to choose an airport that is a bit farther away, but while I'm out here, and because I know I'm not going to probably want to take a special trip out here to get to Ketchikan, I'm going to hit Ketchikan now. But let's go ahead and get things reset up here. Kind of pretty much left them the way they were. That will need to be on. Everything else should be fine. We are going to be cruising at 25,000 feet. Honestly, we'll see if we even make 25,000 feet, but we'll see. If we hit it, we probably won't be staying at 25,000 for long. Go ahead and refresh this. Let's go ahead and let's refuel. And then we'll go ahead and hit our payload.
Boarding completed.
Just securing me now that since I don't have GSX, I probably could have changed that real or fast time, to use instead. But I'll say it's too late for that now, I guess. Let's go ahead and go into the menu, ATSU, AOC menu. Let's go ahead and get initiation.
From the flight deck. On behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer,
And let's
cabin crew,
request
I'd
our
like
route.
to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus
So,
aircraft.
flight
We do
is going to
appreciate your business
be
having
United
you aboard this
2425.
flight. To make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Gonna change the cost index to 50. 25 is right. Let's go ahead and get our wins. And I'm just noticing this, guys. Next time I'm in a Phoenix, I'm gonna see if this is something I've been missing all along. So of course we're gonna be departing out of runway 26. We're gonna hit the GNU 6 and then the LVD. And Ketchikan, we're going to be using runway 20. Now, runway 20 is not the ILS, so this is going to be... Wow, here we go again with not having the correct runways available in the database. So 1 second, guys. I want to double check a couple things. The last thing I want to do is inadvertently accidentally put in the water runway. I really don't want to do a Sully landing today. Alright, so it recommends either 11 or, let's see, let me get the actual airport chart out here for Ketchikan. That'll tell me straight away what I should be looking for. So according to the chart, it's either 11 or 29, but we don't have a 29. We do. What is SimBrief doing to me here? SimBrief wants... Alright, I missed it. What was I looking at? Alright, right here, RNAV 29. And there is no sitter star. Go ahead and insert. Let's go ahead and make sure there's no discounts, and of course there always is. And that's my thing, guys. That's how I was taught. That's how I learned. I just get rid of discounts, guys. Whether it's right or wrong. And 730NG driver says it's wrong to remove the discontinuities, but again, I'm not here because I am a real pilot or I want to be a real pilot. I'm here to have fun. It's a simulator. And if that's what works for me to get me there, that's what I do. I do enjoy having some realism here to an extent, but I'll never try to go overboard like I am a real pilot or I'm ever going to be a real pilot. I'm just not. Alright, so as we all know, there is no takeoff calculator. I suppose I could probably find a website that's got a calculator I could use, but again, I'm just going to make up my speeds. It'll work. It'll get me off the ground. And then hopefully by Christmas, Phoenix will keep the promise and we'll have, say the least, high fidelity study level A319s and A321s to fly around. Last track there. Here we go. Again, we'll just go flaps 1. And that'll be good to go. Now this says 253. Navigraph says we've got 203, and that's been kind of throwing me off a little bit. You know, between these defaultish like airplanes and what Navigraph is telling me. But we got the information that we need. I think we're pretty much set up to go. Except we do kind of need to get the APU started. Now, I haven't completely made up my mind yet, guys. But I think once we finish up at Ketchikan, I'm probably going to end the stream. But then I might decide to do another trip. I just haven't decided. Do I want to go to Jackson Hole first, or I kind of, like I said, I kind of want to get over to Yellowknife, but I think to get over to Yellowknife right, do it the right way, the fun kind of way, knowing that Buffalo Airways just got their first 737, I think maybe I'm going to save that trip for Monday night, provided that we get the tablet. So I think maybe, just maybe, I'll do a flight from Ketchikan to Jackson Hole, and then we can go from Jackson Hole to Yellowknife Monday night, possibly. We'll see. But APU is available. Let's go ahead and get PAC-X all loaded up. And I don't know why it can't detect the plane I'm in.
We are ready to go when you are.
Alright, perfect.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to welcome you aboard our flight. When you
Oh,
find your seat, please be
actually,
sure
I
to
think there is
place
one
your
thing I
larger
forgot to do.
carry-on
Let's
items
go ahead
in
and do
the
that
overhead
now.
bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. Unless you're in a front row, please place all of your items in the overhead bin.
14.6.
If you have any trouble finding a location for your carry-on items, please let a flight attendant know and we would be happy to assist you. If the overhead bin is full after you put your carry-on inside of it, please close the bin as a courtesy to other passengers.
123.7.
Once all your items are put away, please clear the aisle and sit down in your seat to allow other passengers to find their seats as well. If you are seated in an emergency exit row,
And then
please leave the exit
CG
seating responsibilities
24.3.
in the safety card in the seat back in front of you. Please make sure you are willing and able to perform the actions required. If you are not able or prefer not to perform these actions, please let a flight attendant know.
There we go.
Feel free to use your cell phones during the rest of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you, and welcome aboard. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 2425 with service to Panc-Pajn. Our flight time will be roughly 46 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, secure doors for departure.
There goes engine number 1. I'm noticing this over here, guys. I don't know if that's really going to accurately show me how and where I'm moving from, but we're still going pretty slow here. Oh, I forgot the parking brakes, that's why. Oops. Might as well get the beacon lights as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front of the aircraft for a safety demonstration. When the seatbelt light is on, please make sure that your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap.
Yeah, how about that, guys?
Insert the metal fittings into one another.
The plane is
Tighten
moving
by
in the
pulling on the
picture.
loose
That's
end of the
actually kind of
To
cool.
release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. In the event that the seatbelt light is not on, we suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened in case of unexpected turbulence. Please take a few moments to now locate one of the several emergency exits on this aircraft. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you.
Go ahead and kick in
case
engine
of an
number
emergency
2.
and we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the floor that will guide you towards the exit. In the event that the cabin loses pressure, an oxygen mask will drop right in front of you. To start the flow of
Disconnect
oxygen,
that.
pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over
So
your
we're good to
nose
go
and mouth,
there.
and secure the elastic band behind your head. Tighten the straps if necessary and breathe normally. Although the
We can
bag
start
cannot
doing
inflate,
a little bit of
oxygen
work
is flowing
here.
through the mask.
The
If you are
flaps
traveling with
one
a
in.
child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask first and then assist others. Leave your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not
And
inflate
this time I'm going to try to
automatically, blow into
remember
the mouthpieces for manual
not to
inflation.
turn off the APU
This
until
vest
we
is
get to
equipped with
our
universal and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a
runway,
secondary
so I don't get
device.
to early
Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your
prepare
arms
for
into the
takeoff.
strap, and hug the cushion to your chest.
Well, never mind.
Once
He's
again,
already
all
doing it. I
devices
don't
must be
know
in
how they
airplane
got that
mode, and your
set or
larger
why,
devices must be
but I'm
turned off and
obviously
stowed at
nowhere
this time.
near ready for takeoff,
Please
and I didn't
securely
touch
stow
the
your
APU.
personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened in seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight.
So we are
Tampering
taking
with,
off runway
disabling, or destroying the
26.
smoke detectors
I guess
located
it's
in the
possible in
laboratory
real
is
life they
prohibited
don't
by
really
law.
want you taking
All
off
of this
the
information and more can be
runway
found at the
8,
safety card
given
located in the
terrain
seat back in front of you.
surrounding
We
us.
suggest reading this and let us know if you have any questions. Thank
So
you for
we'll be
flying with
taking
us,
a
and
left,
we hope
go
you
down to
enjoy
the
your
end.
flight.
Let's go ahead and, since I already got the message, I'm just going to kill the APU while I'm up here. Turn on the taxi lights. Go ahead and test takeoff, since that should be doable at this point. Go ahead and release the parking brake. And let's go. Now we're going a little too fast there. Like I said, we're going to take a left. And go down to the end. But man, like I said, this is actually a pretty cool airport. And what I kind of want to say, I wish it was these guys that did catch Ken. And you'll see why once we get there.
We're ready for departure.
Well, they did take some time about all that. I'm not sure what that is. Well, maybe we can take a closer look at that the next time we might be here. Gotta get the taxi landing lights on. I'm just gonna take the taxi off. There's no need to keep the taxi lights on, guys. Daytime, I got my landing lights on. It's not really necessary, and again, it's just one more switch to have to worry about turning off when you're in here or trying to concentrate on other things. Not going to be the perfect light up in the world, but it's okay. And here we go, Toga! Alright, we should be going fast enough. Here we go, positive rate of climb, gear up. We'll go ahead and go to climb. I really don't know what that top green bar is, or if I'm just imagining that. Alright, so we're up about 5,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and let the autopilot take over. It's time to put the flaps up. There we go. Like I said, guys, this is going to be a relatively short flight. So bye-bye, Juno. Here we come, Ketchikan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now passing through 10,000 feet. You can now turn on your larger portable electronic devices. As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened while you are seated and do not congregate in the galleys or near the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi to find out more information. The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when seated in case of unexpected turbulence.
Yep, you're definitely above 10,000 feet. So we can legitimately go ahead and get rid of our runway lights. And as you can see, guys, it's a short flight. Looks like we will have some time at cruise. Looking at arrows here, but not long. Alright, so while we do have some time to listen to some tunes while we are in flight, I'm going to go ahead and mute the sim. And we're going to go ahead and play some tunes.
few moments, we'll be starting our in-flight meal service. Please look in your seat back for our menu, and one of our crew members will stop by shortly for your order. If you'd like to order additional menu items, you may hit the flight attendant call button at any time, and we would be happy to assist you.
Okay, welcome back to the flight deck, guys. So as you can see, because I did not reload this plane, it would not let me select descend, and I did not like the open descent, so I'm controlling the descent on my own. And I hesitate to think that perhaps maybe at this point, you know, we might be starting to descent a little bit too late, but we'll get there. Luckily, I'm not irritating the passengers as they are still satisfied by 100%. Let's see if we can keep it there. Go ahead and change it over to normal altimeter, and yes, we are going to be looking for an altimeter setting of 30.51. Well, I gotta change it one notch. And because of my late descent, and I don't want to increase the vertical speed any further, I might have to deviate a little bit from my flight plan. I don't know why I'm not in nav mode. Not sure if I like the way this is. Well, looks like it's going back. I just think it's going a little too harshly to put itself back on the nav path. Alright, I'm going to try it. I may regret it. But it's now got me on descent, so I'm going to let the descent take over. I do believe we're in a halfway decent range, where it may do what we needed to do here. But we definitely got to get the landing lights on. Go ahead and put some more speed brake in. So we don't break the speed limit. I lost 2 points on the satisfaction. Oh well.
Please return to your seat as the seatbelt sign is now on.
Might as well get everything else we know we need to have ready to go. Not waiting for last minute here.
We have begun our final descent into Panc-Pajn-Pakt. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
And as we can see, it's not really necessarily at all following the path where it should be on its descent. That green dot is way up, and we're obviously below it. But I'm not going to really complain as long as we come in and generally the altitude we should be at once we get ready to on the approach here to get on final. And because we are in a mountainous area, you know, we also do kind of need to be cautious to make sure we're not coming in too low and end up hitting any of this terrain as well. And as we can see, terrain function on this plane is not working. So I'm not going to have that there to help us out. While I review the airport, because this will probably be the last time you'll ever see me stream this plane or fly this plane on stream, I'll give you what my overall opinions on this aircraft actually is. So we are getting there, guys. Down around 6,000 feet. I know you probably can't hardly make that out, but that's the other thing about, you know, the fly-by-wire and these default planes. You know, as good as you can make the settings and you can turn those switches, you just can't find a good setting to really be able to fine-tune in to see those green numbers. I mean, that right there did help me out a little bit. I can now make out those numbers a bit better, but I honestly really don't have to struggle like that on a Phoenix. You know, if there's a setting in the menu that would improve that for these default planes, I'm not sure which setting that is. Like I said, I do have some leeway to bump up the settings a bit more, but you know, I think overall it looks pretty good enough. I'm far from having to limit the settings to begin with. I just don't want to completely max them out because, you know, I know it's not going to work well when I get into airports like JFK and LAX. You know, I think honestly, unless you're on a full-blown 4090, I think that might be the only card out there that you completely max the settings out and then be at an airport like JFK and LAX and not really hardly take a hit. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I think y'all can run out and buy the 4090 if you want. You know, if you've got the money to be able to do that, great. You know, I mean, it's great if you can afford it. I mean, why not? But for the average flight simmer, you know, that's a lot of money. And I think those can afford to spend around $800 for a graphics card. 4070 Ti does pretty well. And again, right now, you know, the only thing that right now I'm really being limited by is my monitor. And that's because the last time I bought a monitor, I didn't pay attention, and my max resolution on this monitor is 1080p. And when you're streaming, you can't stream at the max resolution that your monitor can handle. It's gotta be lower than. So I'll be honest, I am streaming, you know, lower than 1080p, but higher than 720. I'm right there somewhere in the middle.
$2,500.
This is not bad in my opinion. At some point, that will be my next purchase. Make sure I get a 4K monitor that also has a halfway decent refresh rate as well. That way I can at least bump it up to 1080p. I don't think I'll ever want to stream in 4K. Maybe I will. I just don't necessarily think there's a need to, you know, put that much more work on the equipment. The harder you make it work all the time, the, you know, the shorter time you're going to be able to have and use it. You know, you will wear, you know, these processors out over time. Alright, so we're getting closer. Now, ideally, before we get to Zimco, we want to be 4,500, which we're there about now. But definitely by the time we get to Yatter, we need to be down to 3,500. And it looks like it's going to be a cloudy, possibly foggy approach into Ketchikan. We'll see. In those occasions, it would have been nice to possibly come into runway 11, where you at least have the ILS to possibly do an auto land on. But that is another thing I don't really like necessarily doing these days is auto land. It's lazy. There's really no fun on just letting the plane do it all on its own, you know? Where's the challenge when you do that? Alright, so we're definitely catching up to the green dot. I'm going to start slowing this down, guys. If there was at all a recommended speed or restriction, I didn't see it or notice it. I might as well take that down to 0. So she'll keep on climbing down, as we hopefully should be automatically. Alright, I'm going to see if I can put out a notch of flaps. There we go. Takes down to 180.
2,500.
Alright, so we're coming up on Yatter and we're slowly climbing down there. Go ahead and put another notch of flaps in. Speed brakes are armed. Everything is armed and good to go. Alright, good. So it did take us down to 3,500 like it should. Still about probably 15 miles out. Which perhaps maybe 180 is too slow to be this far out. But what I have noticed is it is a better idea to slow down a little further in advance. That way you have a good chance of actually getting to the speed where you need to be while you're on the actual final here. This is Alaska. Air does tend to be cooler than other places most of the time, which, especially the 737, you know, it kind of makes it hard to slow it down. Alright, so it looks like it is going to try to bring me down. Alright, so we're around 7 miles out. I'm going to start slowing her down some more. And really keep an eye out for that runway. As of right now, I cannot see it. So now I've got flaps 3 at 160. I am definitely higher than the glide path I'm supposed to be on, but it is what it is.
2,500.
And I kind of start to see the runway, which is good. Let's go ahead and see if we can get her on her final speed. I will go ahead and put the landing gear down at this point. Go ahead and put out flaps 4. The landing gear is out. Come up here and remember to put the taxi lights on. Here we go. It's definitely getting us back on profile where we ought to be, but if it does what it typically does, it's going to be below it. I'm going to wait a little bit here and make it my plane. Alright, my airplane. So far the pappies look good. Let's see if I can keep it up. Now this runway is not really the longest runway in the world. So I mean the reality is you really gotta kinda come in here, do your best to keep on the pappies, but you really kinda gotta get it down.
Retard. 10, 5.
There we go, we are down. And I'm just going to do my best to let her roll because we do have to go all the way down to the end. Meanwhile, I'm going to start bringing the flaps in. Reset my spoilers. Here we go. Alright, so we'll stop here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Panc-Pajn-Pakt. The local time is 2:46 p.m. and it's currently about 36 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off.
Alright, so for those of y'all that like realism and understand what it is to ride the brakes and get the brakes hot, that is something that at this airport can be a little somewhat hard to deal with. Because to get to the terminal, well, you're definitely going to be doing some downhill taxiing here. And I do kind of want to dare say that if you came in on the other runway, 11 I believe it is, so you would have, come down the other side, I want to say the other embankment is a bit steeper than it is on this end. This one's just longer of a descent, where the other one's more of a shorter, steeper descent. But definitely keeping the throttles idle, guys. The plane is doing the speed it is because of what it does by default, and again, because we are essentially going downhill. This is kind of somewhat similar to Madeira. Not, definitely not same, not just alike, but similar. And there is only one jetway here. Now, I definitely would have loved to have told GSX to I'm parking here and see if I could have gotten a dance, but since this plane seems to be incompatible with it, that's just not going to happen. Alright, I'm going to stop there. I think in real life they'd rather have you more full pulled up here, but if you look at how they designed this airport and how they put the parking spots in, well, doesn't really line you up very well, in my opinion. So I'm going to stop right here. The parking brake's on. Turn off the beacons. We do have used the external power, so I'm just going to kill the APU. It's not really needed at this point. Let's go ahead and kill the engines. Let's go ahead and deal with well, I'm going to try again to see if I can get the jetway. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but alright, so it's definitely going to work here. So we'll let it use it. And again, make sure I got my lights off, and I do. And Pac-Pajn-Pakt is the boarding. We'll see if I can have some other fun here. See if I can at least kind of somewhat simulate the cargo and whatnot. I don't think it will. Go ahead and get the baggage truck. Here's a lot of default stuff here today, guys. So this is Ketchikan. I'm not going to get into the review yet this yet, but you know, as you're looking at the picture, start taking a look around and you know, see if you can notice any things I might begin to talk about here. Yeah, look at that. Not even the baggage loader is going to where it should go on this plane. Well, maybe it is, but it's definitely not minding the engine. So I guess if we're ever going to fly this plane again, we're going to need a new engine. Lovely default Microsoft. Look at that. It kind of amazes me that, when Microsoft set up the AI for the luggage, I couldn't put just a tiny bit more effort into it. At least, possibly pause the animation to keep the luggage there for, a little bit longer instead of just kind of doing a quick drive-by. But we'll have to see what they do in 2024. So, flight is complete. According to Pac-X, I definitely had a better landing this go around. Not bad, 255 feet per minute. Still not a butter, but far from being extremely terrible as well. Go ahead and close that out. According to Volanta, coming into Ketchikan, according to Volanta, I had a 264 foot per minute landing rate. Not terrible either. I'll take it. So now that we're here, let's go ahead and get a look around here. Go ahead and activate my Xbox controller. I'm really glad it didn't completely freak out and put me in a really terrible view. So I'm gonna pause here for a moment on this view here. I want to tell you a little story. Before I really get my review, that way, as I'm saying what I'm saying, it might really make sense. So this airport is an ORBX airport built by ORBX, and this airport is not their first go at this airport. They first did this airport back in FSX, and the story about ORBX is they were making airports with animated people back at FSX long before AES and FS Dream Team, came out with their GSX. ORBX already did it. They were the first. Back in those days, you know, when you bought a Norbix airport, whether it was for general aviation or for the few commercial airports that they did back at that time, it was big. It was, it was eye-popping. It was the first of its kind. It was the airport you wanted to fly into and you wanted to make more of. Um, I mean, when you flew into any Orbix airport, it didn't really matter which airport it was, whether it was for general aviation or commercial. They definitely had all sorts of different scenes all throughout the airport. For example, of animated people walking around, having conversations, washing windows, doing this, doing the other. Um, at every airport, different scenes. Definitely had eye candy all over the place. They did an extremely good job at those airports, right? Typically, for every airport that they did, you know, they usually tried to keep the same level of eye-popping goodness, and they'd always put a surprise in. You kind of have to go on a treasure hunt. Back in the days of FSX, I'm sure you might be able to now, download and install a car that you can drive around in the sim. Definitely could back in FSX. Even Orbix, back in the days of FSX, gave you this little Wally type camera that you could kind of explore the scenery with. It was kind of cool. Um, but when I say treasure hunt is typically you'd got the airport. You'd have all the stuff that you could walk around and see that they added in. It was really cool. It was fun. But if you got yourself, especially in a car where you can go out and drive around the roads, which they also did their best to kind of fix up and, make it obvious that it's a road and you can go driving down it. But they, somewhere outside of the initial airport, out in the surrounding scenery, there'd be like a country store you could go find and have some animated people at, go in the store or walk around. They might have a gas station you could go find and look around at. They're not doing that stuff anymore, guys. It was so good back in the days of FSX. People were making mini movies showcasing the scenery. A lot of those videos are no longer around. I don't know if the people that made them retired, passed away, decided they just didn't want to do it anymore, and deleted it because of its age or whatnot. Who knows? I don't know. There are still a few of those videos around that if you decide to, you can go back and find on YouTube, and kind of see what I'm talking about. Um, but I have to say, my honest opinion, now that we're in a future sim back from FSX, current day simulation with so much ability to do things. There's so much more detail that they could have been done, in this simulator. They're not doing it anymore, guys. Um, if you reach out and ask them, why aren't you doing this? Why didn't you do that? They just come out with excuses on why they can't do this and they can't do that. I want to say a good portion of the scenery. They just it kind of seems like they just kind of imported the buildings over from FSX. Maybe they kind of patched up the coloration and stuff or whatnot to be more PBR a little bit, but they really aren't putting that kind of effort into the airports anymore these days, guys. So I'm going to start from over here. I mean, there's not really much to see over here. I mean, there would have been if this was DFSX Ketchikan, but yeah, this is far enough. I mean, I'm tempted to kind of change the weather. In fact, I'm going to because one of the things I kind of want to show you, it's kind of hard to see because of the snow. Uh, I'm not even sure if that's quite what I want. Well, I'm going to say I don't really see snow. With that being said, changing the weather did make it easier to see this. Look at this, guys. Look how sloppy this is. They did some terraforming here to kind of do their best to fix the elevation, but they really didn't put too much time into working this, guys. See how choppy this is? If you're at all in the scenery creation and you've been in the SDK, looking at all the different tools that you have to be able to make the sim, you kind of know where I'm going with this and what they did to do how they did this. And why you're seeing what we're seeing here, guys. This shouldn't be chopped out like this. This whole area, this whole side, this whole edge should be smooth. It should be rounded out like a hill. Not like Cookie Monster came out here and took a bite. Um, and that's not the only space that you can see that. I mean, look at down here. Um, not really looking that good, guys. Um, and you definitely still find some FSX Ketchikan um, videos these days, guys. And I mean, it's a night and day difference, guys. Um, some of this stuff is still here from, like I said, the way it was in FSX. Like I said, in my opinion, I do believe they just did their best to import it from FSX and put it here. I can go back and look. I don't know as if they ever really had a version for P3D or not. I don't know. But one thing I will say for sure, this isn't the ORBX that we all used to know and love. It's, it's just not. I mean, it is still a good, fun airport to fly into. Definitely, I do enjoy my trips here. But for me, well, look, we actually got a person that they put in. But he's just static. He's not doing anything. I mean, this sim was built for animated people. I mean, if we look at some of the other developers these days, we definitely know it's not that difficult at this point to make your animated people and animate them into the scenery. Um, I mean, they have put some eye candy around here, which is good. Um, but if this was the old Orbix that we all know and love, as we go around here, we'd find people actually doing things like right here. You can see what they tried to do, but just static, just a guy standing there. Um, Definitely would have found some animated people in around here. I mean, look at how they lined this up, guys. That should not have been that way. And they're even using default jetways. That's why I have this jetway right here. This is Latin VFR's Jetway Pro, I believe it's called. But yeah, I mean, if we even try, yeah, I mean, they didn't even model anything of the building. In fact, they'll only let you go in top downs. They don't want you looking. Well, you can get in there from this way. Let's see if what they did with the tower. Did they do anything at all? Anything that might be considered spectacular? Nope. I mean, for those of us that have been simming a long time and spent a decent amount of time in FSX and P3D, is this the kind of work we used to know and love? It's just not. And that is one of the unfortunate things I do end up thinking about every time I fly in here. It's fun, but then at the same time, you always think back about the days in FSX, and it just makes you sad. I mean, if we look at the taxiway lines, um, I hesitate to think that there's anything custom to them. I want to say that these are also default taxi lines, and I know I brought that up in another stream when I was talking about San Jose as an example. I mean, how much work did they really put into this? Um, I mean, this airport has been up by them for quite a while, and they just have not at all come back to, update it, fix it, make it to the orbits that we all used to know and love. I mean, this sim has so much potential for them to do things, and they're just not taking advantage of any of it at all. And then charging at least a somewhat premium price for it because it's got their name stamped to it. They figure people will just pay it because it's Orbix. I mean, static people, when we got the full potentiality of them doing what they used to do with animated people, I mean, to be fair, you know, I don't think they waited too long to release us into the sim when the sim first launched. And maybe some things just weren't the way they should have been when they made it. But in my opinion, if you couldn't release a product that shows your name, that shows the quality that people are accustomed to, don't release it. I'm not sure if this is custom or not. I mean, certainly this right here is supposed to be something. Obviously, there's supposed to be roads or of some kind for some reason. The old ORBX would have made it look good. They would have made it lead to something and show you what is actually there for that path to be leading you to. The old ORBX might have perhaps put some animated cars here. I kind of want to say there should have been more down here than what they put. I don't think it was supposed to be this empty. I don't know, guys. I'm kind of tempted. I do still have FSX installed on one of my external hard drives. I don't have the game actually installed and working. But I'm actually kind of tempted one of these days to get it reinstalled. Perhaps just so I can come in and do a flight here with the original OG PMDG 737 from back in FSX and show you what I'm talking about. We can compare the sceneries. But in a nutshell, guys, that's pretty much in a nutshell this airport. And that's why I made the comment back over when we were over in Juneau that I wish Northern Sky would have done this airport because I know they would have, based on what they did there, they would have done so much of a better job putting Ketchikan back into the simulator. The fact that they didn't is just too bad. So I I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the stream. I am glad I was able to share with you my story about ORBX and show you around this airport and give you some of the reasons why I might be a little sour on ORBX. I hope that you guys can understand that. And I do, it's my feeling that if you've been simming as long as I have, and started out the days of FSX, definitely when FSX was in its glory, and you did own some of these airports, I feel like you know what I'm talking about. You feel what I'm feeling, perhaps. There's just no more eye popping. Oh my God, it's finally here on any ORBX release. There's just not. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. I am considering doing another flight. I definitely will not be flying this plane again. After tomorrow. If I need a smaller plane to fly, I should have no issues going back into the 737. Again, for those that don't know and are wondering, I'm waiting for the tablet. I'm not doing it for protest. I'm just doing it at this point because it has finally been released with a solid potential release date, and I'm just building up that anxiety and being able to stay away from the 737 for a little while, get into it with a tablet, and have that that new sense of having a new feeling of getting back into that plane. So a little bit of excitement, right? Um, but I did tell you, how I felt about this plane specifically. I kind of feel to an extent I agree with Captain Canada. You shouldn't go out and buy a plane, i.e. a payware plane, and then have to turn around and mod it just to be able to really fly it. You shouldn't do that. I mean, but I'm not going to be that harsh on it. I mean, I understand where Latin VFR is coming from on making these planes, trying to give Xbox users something else to fly. You know, that's the audience that this plane was intended for. As well as the audience that doesn't really necessarily care about realism. They just want to come in the sim, perhaps hit Control E and have a good time. and there's nothing wrong with that. But that is generally the group of people that this plane was made for. It wasn't really intended for those of us that want to have at least a halfway decent, realistic flight. It just wasn't. But Phoenix is coming out with their A321 and A319, hopefully by the end of the year. So while I will fly them then, in the meantime, like I said, I probably won't ever fly this plane again. And definitely once Phoenix comes out, Latin VFR planes will not be flown again on stream, to say the least. Um, but that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I may do another flight today, but that will be under a new stream launch. I'm going to keep this title where it's at. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.